Well, I think Kevin McCarthy put it perfectly when he said that the Democrats are trying to use this bill to usher in big government, socialist government, and it has potential to cripple America's Constitution. And if you look at some of the provisions, it has very little to do with actual infrastructure, which Republicans rightly would support. It's more about climate change, it's more about surveillance into our private banking accounts. It's all about social justice policy. And not only is the financial price tag for this, the multi-trillion-dollar price tag, a big way that socialism can be ushered into a country, but also just the bills, the agenda itself promises to upseat the Constitution and really steal individual liberties even more.
One of the things that he hit on, Rick Gates, I'll go to you on this one, is that he went against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, saying this bill, whichever one, will cost zero, when in fact it would cost 4.3 trillion, and that's where he went with it. And then he also went to talk about 85,000 IRS agents being hired to look to see if families are spending $600 or more. What are they spending it on? And that needs to be delved into a little bit more. But bottom line, Rick Gates was Minority Leader McCarthy on par there and saying this isn't going to cost $0. It's going to cost more than $4 trillion.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy just did a masterful job of laying out for the American people the mistakes that the Democrats have made in pulling all of these financial related bills together. It is a failure on their own doing. And so this idea where he is calling out and saying the Democrats are lying, that these bills are not going to cost anything, I think every American out there knows that these bills are going to cost something. If you're spending $5 trillion between a reconciliation bill and an infrastructure bill, it doesn't just evaporate. It doesn't just come out of thin air. You have to find a way to pay for these. And the Democrats haven't outlined that yet for the American people. And that's a large part of the mistake that they've made in tying these bills together. So Kevin did a fantastic job, I think, of convincing the American people that the Democrats have just utterly failed on every measure: debt ceiling, infrastructure, and the reconciliation bill in less than 24 hours.
And they're really coming down to the wire, leaving it to the last minute. Of course, we saw some Congress members enjoy a nice baseball game last night. Mitch, we also saw the president there. He was supposed to be in Chicago to talk about vaccine mandates, but then he stayed in Washington, assumingly to help push this spending plan through. Where is the president on this plan? Do you think he's doing more behind the scenes? We know he's meeting with some members, but what's his influence in all of this?
Not clear, Emma. He met with Sinema and Manchin yesterday, and I don't think that went terribly well because they drew their line in the sand and they're sticking with it. Obviously, these social programs and the human infrastructure is an important measure for the president. But I would think, given all of the losses that he's had and his falling approval rating, he'd want to win. And the simple way to get a win is to get the leaders together and say, there was a infrastructure bill that was a real infrastructure bill. It passed the Senate in a bipartisan way. Let's get that to the floor. Let's deal with the debt ceiling, and let's kick this can down the road, because this human infrastructure bill, this Green New Deal in disguise, seems to be very unpopular. And if the president and his advisors were smart and wanted to win, I think they would try to just get a simple old infrastructure bill done that could be helpful, perhaps, not the Green New Deal, which wouldn't be.
Really quickly here, Jen Kearns, I thought it was an interesting inside political baseball moment, if you will, when Kevin McCarthy says Democrats control the House, they control the Senate and the presidency, something that Speaker Pelosi has said a couple of years back, and now he used that.
Yeah, he did. And, Rick Gates is right here. Kevin McCarthy is a masterful communicator. He brings it down to street level. I was a communications director when Kevin McCarthy was the Republican leader in the California state legislature. And this is something he does so well. He brought it home to American families to say, hey, if you're going to go out and buy a big screen TV at Best Buy, government daddy, Joe Biden, is going to know about it. If you're going to take your family to Disneyland or Disney World, the government's going to know about it. This is creeping socialism that's coming into the doors of America. And sadly, it's not coming in the back door. It's walking right through the front door through Congress.
All right, we'll see how the votes line up. Jennifer Kearns, Mitch Rochelle, Rick Gates, and Cheryl Chumley, thank you all so much for weighing in.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.